is really. But there's many individuals who have not even £1,000 in their account. And if you used to say to them, look, man, you see that person there, your friend, I'll give you £1,000, I'll give you 10,000, I'll give you £50,000, tell me where he lives. And they'll say, bro, if you gave me £10 million, I wouldn't. That's my guy, man. I grew up with him, man. He's like my brother, man. I've been to his house. The foundation is love. It's never fear. It's never, oh, no, I don't fear him. Somebody who fears you will always snitch on you. There will be one way or another that they'll betray you. If somebody truly has love for you, truly, and I'm not talking about the love you think somebody has for you because they're saying cool to you. Love is deep, bro. Like, this is why there's a difference. There's two differences. There's love, the perspective of love, which is the perspective from the ego. And then there's jasa, which is a conscious, divine love. Now, within this, the base is honor, the base is integrity, the base is loyalty, the base is happiness, the base is serenity. These are fundamental foundations to comprehend jasa, to comprehend this divine love. And when you understand it, it will always answer your questions and your comprehension to all of life's questions when you think about it. So if you know, when I came out, I was saying, could God be both male and female? Would that make sense? And then, you know, some of these things, this is basically philosophy. You're basically trying to comprehend God. You can't put an abacus here and start, you know, pushing down 2, 3, 4 and saying, yep, here we go, I've proven God with a mathematic equation. You can't do that. God is beyond maths. God is beyond any physical matter for you to be able to comprehend it and prove it. So the way that you can prove God is something called the Kalam argument, I believe, if you know it.
Heard of it. I can bring it up. Give me a second.
Yeah, bring it up. Kalam cosmological argument.
Logical argument. So the Kalam argument is a modern formulation of the cosmological argument for existence of God. It's named after Kalam, medieval Islamic scholastic, from which its key ideas originated. It was popularized by the Western world. The argument's key underpinning idea is metaphysical impossibility of actual infinites and of temporarily past infinite universes traced by Craig.
Bro, that's all bullshit, man. Let me describe it in the chat, like I would to a child. Okay?
Right.
This is how I do. I don't like to use big words to confuse people. I like to make it very simple.
Sweet.
So everything that exists, has a cause. All right?
Okay.
So, like, you are the product of your parents, right? Your parents are the product of their parents, and so on and so forth, until you go back to the first human, until you go back to the first ape, until you go back to the first animal, until you go back to the first bacteria, until you go back to whatever exists. And then before you was the earth, before the earth was, you know, you was probably a piece of a star, okay? As you go back and back, there's something that is causing the existence of the next thing, yeah?
Yeah.
So, for example, a PlayStation, at one point it was plastic, it was pieces of metal, it was pieces of, other materials as well, yeah? And so on and so forth. So, when you say, okay, you keep going back all the way to the point where the universe, you come to the universe now. So then you say, okay, so the universe has a cause then, right? Now, there's many scientific principles and, possibilities that many scientists give, but they can keep doing this for years and years, but one thing they cannot do is discord rationality and logic again. And whatever that exists is a product of something else. Now, the base, the foundation, again, the thing that begins, whatever's the first, it cannot be a physical object. It cannot be something which something else gives birth to again, because then we'll keep on going backwards. We have to come to the first one. The first one is immaterial, is beyond space and time, because it cannot be correlated with time or distance or whatever you can comprehend to exist in the universe is beyond that.
Okay.
It also has no beginning nor an end, because if it has a beginning, then that would mean that something else is behind it.
Yeah.
It has to be an infinite. It cannot be finite.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The moment you put now, as I was you questioned this, innit? So
yeah.
For me, I was like, okay, so when you go to the infinite, so I kept questioning. I was like, okay, let me keep going backwards, because when you keep going backward, you will hit a stop, and before you get to that stop, you get to God. Now you start to understand God. So now you got to understand that this thing, and you got to put logic and rationality into it. This foundation must be infinite. Now, what is the next question, Shav?
Next question.
Once you get to an infinite and you understand, okay, this God is infinite, what is the next logical question here, bro?
You got me lost, bro.
There you go. The next question would be here is, okay, what is infinite? Would that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Perfect. So now you have to understand what is infinite. So now you put different gods into it and see, okay, is this God infinite or not? So, and remember, God never has a contradiction. God doesn't require you to make mental gymnastics for you to answer a question. Everything makes sense, which is why everything with Jaceen is very simple. I make it extremely simple because everything should be simple, where an objectivity or truly objectiveness doesn't mean that I have to tell you at a specific time and date why something is okay and another time it's completely fucked. Like, for example, Muhammad marrying a 6-year-old 1400 years ago. To this day, every Muslim is doing backflips to try and explain or find an explanation. Or back then, girls would... No, it's wrong, bro. That's it. I would never... forget me. Would you marry a 6-year-old?
Never, bro. Never.
Not even just you, but as in, I'm saying, ask them. Would they marry a 6-year-old? And they start sweating. And then that's when their brain is, like I said, it's extremely primitive. It's like asking a chimpanzee to dance and speak into it. If you say to a chimpanzee, "Hiya, my name is Asen. What is your name?" The chimpanzee will probably just scratch his ass. It doesn't know what the hell it's saying. So it would be stupid for you to actually expect more of the chimpanzee, knowing that the chimpanzee is in a primitive state. You have to slowly, like a child, like baby food. You have to give them this knowledge like baby food, because the way that I was doing it before was wrong. I used to force it. I used to expect people to have the same conscience and brain as me. And I'll be like, you're retarded, you're stupid, you're dumb. But this is a stupid way of teaching people. Which good teacher is going to come out here and call people retards and that? The greatest teacher is one who's open to access by all, not just by a few who can understand them. Clearly, you're not a good enough teacher to be able to comprehend it to these people. And, over time, I've learned more about patience and everything as well. But, yeah, man, the base foundation, the greatest thing that you can comprehend is love. Even patience, for example. Patience comes with love. You can't love somebody and be completely impatient with them. You have to have patience for them. If you're impatient with somebody in love, then your understanding of love is very low. You need to have patience for them. You need to understand them. You need to comprehend them. You need to have empathy. For example, if there's two people in a relationship, a husband and a wife, for example, a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and the boyfriend's a genius engineer, and the girlfriend is a bimbo Insta model. Now, nobody's saying that the bimbo Insta model who's got what's that thing where they do the mad sex videos and that, and then you can pay OnlyFans. OnlyFans. Look at you knowing straight away, you little naughty boy, man. Yeah, are you onto that? OnlyFans and that?
No, bro.
Don't lie, man. Don't get addicted to that shit, man.
Nah, bro.
Alright, good. Alright, bro. Say no more. So, like I said, nobody can say that woman there cannot pursue love as well. But at the same time, her understanding of love would be very, very primitive. And this is why when they, you know, they sell their bodies. They usually don't have a father that's raised them, or their father's a waste man. They haven't been educated. They're not really educated. The ones that are educated, they're only doing it because if they don't do it, they'll literally be kicked out of university. They won't be able to afford it. Or they're doing it because, again, the lack of a culture or a foundation of respect from young, basically money supersedes that. So, for example, let me give you an example. From young, my dad's basically taught me, not just my dad, like everybody around me has basically taught me, that's older than me, that no matter, like, your loyalty and respect never has a price. You feel me?
Yeah.
You can never buy loyalty and respect.
Of course.
You can never buy it. No matter what you think you've bought, even if you've paid for soldiers, because even soldiers, for example, they work for pay. Technically, you know, they love their country, blah blah blah. But you know, if you don't pay them, what are they gonna do? You think they're still gonna stand there and fight and put their life on the line for you? No.
Nope.
So if you used to say are they loyal? No, they're not. They're loyal to the money. They're not truly loyal to the cause, which they say they're loyal to. You know, they're blinded by that. They're actually, you know, and it makes logical sense. Why would you put your life on the line for your country if you're not getting paid for it? It makes sense.
Of course.
But then that's why, because true loyalty is never to something like that. True loyalty, you can't have loyalty to something that is within the ego. And you protecting your country, as much as you think is great, is actually the ego. What the fuck is a country in the first place? Why do I need to have a separate country to you? Are we not both humans? Are we not both one? Can we not both share this earth and call it as one? So you protecting your country is illogical. You being a soldier for your army is illogical. But if you was to say to me, I will sacrifice myself for truth. Now that is a whole different scenario. This makes sense in every way. This has no payment scheme. You're not getting paid for that, blood. Nobody's out here that's got a fucking jaceen, I don't know, like institution who's saying, guys, once you enroll to this class and once you become seekers of truth, you will start getting paid 40,000 a year. Nah, man, it's not gonna happen like that. Okay, when you stand up for a cause, it's different. You know, it's beyond money. It's beyond what you can what you can pay for through monetary means. Is beyond what you can pay through fear. You can never stand for truth through fear. Somebody's gonna stand up and say, bro, you need to stop talking like that. I don't like the way you're talking, man. That's not nice. You're mistreated these individuals. You're telling these kids that they should be married at this age. That's wrong, man. They don't even understand marriage at that age. Are you crazy? Like, even 16-year-olds shouldn't be in relationships. 16-year-old girls and boys should not be in relationships. They don't comprehend at that state of mind. Everything is driven through their physical urges, which is why so many mistakes happen around that time. Because to truly understand, you know, your decisions in life, you need to make them consciously without emotions attached to them. The moment that your emotions are attached to your decisions is the moment that your decisions are polluted. They're flawed because they're not based on a foundation of logic, truth, rationality, or love, which is the only logical thing. Is based on emotions. And people believe, again, primitive, I call them ape-mans, because they haven't, for me, a human is somebody who comprehends the difference between right and wrong. But then again, when logically speaking, when you put it into simple sense, the most comprehensive reality is knowing the difference between right and wrong. It's just in a simplified term. Everything that exists has a purpose, and everything that exists has a right or wrong. There's no such thing as in something which is when you stand for something that's true. There's no such thing as something that is positive or negative. It's either true or it's false. You feel me? So yeah, man, you got to test these things. So I asked myself, what is infinite? Does it make more sense for God to be infinite and be a male? or does it make more sense for God to be an infinite and be completely sexless, completely be disassociated with any sex? Why would God be associated with any physical sexual abstract or sexual construct that we perceive to be male or female when God is infinite? Another thing is, in the Quran, it constantly talks about God creating the earth and the heavens in 6 days. And when you ask Muslims this question, they say that the day that they talk about in the Quran is like 50,000 earth years. It's different. And the next question is, again, God is timeless and beyond space and time. God is interdimensional. Why would God ever have to rest? That's the first question. How is God resting on the 7th day? Why does God rest? Is God limited in power to rest? And second of all, why does God need to commit to anything through a time? In fact, I asked these questions when I was a child. Again, I saw that this God, for example, in the Christian Bible, it says God created the earth in 6 days, and on the 7th day, on the Sabbath, he rested. And I said, how does God rest? Why does God get tired? Does God get tired? And again, the teacher should have said to me, that's actually a good answer. But even the teacher's mind was primitive. They didn't know the answer. And the answer is, well, clearly they've not understood God. God cannot create something in days. If God wanted to create something instantly, which is why even scientists, imagine this, scientists now can prove to you that the Big Bang occurred. And we can prove through cosmic radiation, factually, not faithfully or, through religious beliefs, we can prove it through scientific facts that through cosmic radiation, that the universe expanded exponentially from the tiniest dot. Now that dot, God could have had it as a huge universe before. We don't exactly know what was before that. Maybe God had a different, but what we do know, what we do scientifically and evidently can prove, is that from the tiniest atom, smaller than an atom, it exponentially expanded to what we have now, and is continuously expanding faster than the speed of light. When you put into logic and perspective, scientists to this day don't know the answer to this. They spend years and years on physics, but it's useless. Everything has an answer in logic and rationality when you try and comprehend it in a simple sense. So, for example, the speed of light is the fastest speed we can measure in the universe, right?
Of course.
But there's one thing that is actually faster than the speed of light, and that is the expansion of the universe. The universe is actually expanding at a faster rate than the speed of light. Now, scientists don't understand how that is possible, because first of all, to reach the speed of light, you need to basically fundamentally have an infinite amount of energy to be able to reach that speed. The closer you reach the speed of light, the harder it gets, and technically it's impossible to reach the speed of light. And again, why? Because once you reach this, I'll tell you why. Scientists to this day don't know, or may know. They might, relate it differently, but I'll explain it through our reasonings. The moment you reach the speed of light, time stops.
Yeah.
The moment time stops, you can be anywhere at any time, at any moment. You're basically like God. Think about it. If time stops, there's no distance either.
Yeah.
So when something says it travels at the speed of light, that's what you think. But once the speed of light is achieved, remember, you require infinite energy. Infinite energy does not exist in a finite universe.
Yeah.
Infinite energy can only exist from an infinite being. An infinite being is God. So to reach the speed of light, you basically, only God can do that. You can only be God to reach the speed of light. And imagine, the only thing that is faster than the speed of light, which doesn't even make sense, is the expansion of the universe. Now, the expansion of the universe can only be related by God. Only God can make something bigger, which he's already created, or she has already created in the first place. And plus, if the universe is expanding at the faster than the speed of light, how does that even logically make sense? That doesn't even make sense. Because the moment you reach the speed of light, it hits infinite energy and time stops. So how does this expand quicker than that? Again, science doesn't understand that, but the only cause for that is, again, God. Now, the other ways to comprehend God is obviously what the foundation of God is, and I've explained to you the divine understanding of awareness. That awareness and the foundation is pure, unadulterated, unfiltered, untouched love. In essence, the only thing that is true is love. Nothing else is true besides love. When you think about it, if something is real, when people think about it, even in simplistic forms, right? When I say to you, this guy is real, what do you expect of this person?
Like, he's honest.
Okay, let me ask you a few questions. You tell me yes or no. So if I say this guy, this male, this friend of mine is real, would you expect them to be loyal?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you expect them to be a good person?
Yeah.
Okay. Could this person be real and a bad person at the same time?
No, I guess no.
Only to a limit, because a bad person, what is bad? The next question is, what is bad? What do you classify as bad? So if I was to say to you, okay, he kills people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll say to me, okay, so why does he kill people? And I say, oh, only when he basically, really needs something to survive. So you're saying, oh, okay, so basically, if it came to survival, he would kill an innocent little child and feed on her just to survive. And I'd say, well, technically he would, yes, because killing is quite normal for him. If it came down to a life or death situation, his main purpose for killing is to survive. He only kills to survive. But if it did come to survival, yes, he would kill. Now, that goes back. How can you trust this person? The next question would be, okay, so if it came to a life or death situation and you and him was lost in some Grand Canyon and you lot were starving and he had a gun on him, would he kill you or not?
He would. According to what you said.
Is he still real?
I guess not, no.
So, okay, because at the end of the day, he could have done it much better. He could still not kill you and fucking die honorably. You feel me?
Yeah.
But again, survival makes people do a lot of crazy things. So the next thing I say to you, it has to be built on a foundation of love.
Okay.
And the reason why is because everything that exists that is good must be attributed to God. Everything that is good. So when we say even morality, what is good and what is not good, what is true and what is false, what is right and what is wrong, we will naturally attribute everything that is right, everything that is good, everything that is true to God, right?
Okay.
What is true? Now, the logical question is, what is truth? So if I was to say to you, this person is a liar, would you say that he is true?
No.
No. If I said this person tells the truth, would you accept that this person is true?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Okay, so what if I said to you, okay, this person tells the truth up to the point where you pay him £100,000, then he will lie. Would he be true?
To a certain extent.
Exactly, but then the foundation of it is based on what? Is it based on purpose? Is it based on love, or is it based on the ego?
It's greed. Which is the ego.
Okay, so his foundation for what he does, for his loyalty, is based on his greed, which is money. Money is a human-made object to basically provide value for things. Yeah. So he basically values his life and his truth based on how valuable objects, how much he has, or what can be given to him, like an animal. You see?
Good.
It's low. But if I was to say to you, okay, you see this man here, he's a Muslim, he thinks what he believes in is true, which is God. And he would die for his religion. And there are many Muslims that would die for their religion.
Yeah.
Even though what he follows is false, but in his mindset, this is God. Which one would be more loyal to the cause? Him for God or this man for his money?
I'd say the Muslim.
Of course, man, because if it came down to it, this guy can be paid out. This guy can't. The last thing he's going to do is going to say, bro, listen, this is my faith and this is my religion, this is my beliefs, and I'm willing to die for it. Because once I die, I'm not gonna have no money. I'm gonna go to see God. So if anything, I need to put my complete loyalty and my full faith into God as opposed to money. It's a higher purpose. You feel me? And anytime somebody does good, even if I ask you a simple logical question like, when somebody does good, what do they have to do? Would you accept that they would have to help? So if somebody does good, would they help or would they not help?
That'd be help.
Exactly. So if somebody was to do good, would they create happiness or would they take away happiness?
Create happiness.
Okay. Would you say that happiness comes with love or the absence of love?
With love.
Would you accept that in the absence of love, you cannot have happiness?
Yeah, I would accept that.
Yeah? Because think of it. If, for example, let me simple. So if you're in a marriage and it doesn't matter if you've been together for 50 years, if you don't love your husband, can you be happy in that marriage?
No.
No, you cannot. Deep inside, you are dying, basically.
Yeah.
You're fucked. And we know this from many prevalent, this is very prevalent in many communities to this day. So the foundation has to be good. The foundation has to be love. The foundation has to be true. It has to be pure. And again, you comprehend this in the infinite. Something which is good. I mean, what is good? Good, what is truth? Is this a physical thing? If I was to ask you what is truth, would you comprehend it to be something physical, which you can grab onto?
No.
No, it's a construct. It's like an understanding of something, right?
Yeah.
So, again, if I was to say to you something that is true, something that is good, something that is pure, something that gives you, something that is intelligent as well, because if I was to ask you, is God intelligent or unintelligent, which one would you say?
Intelligent.
Intelligence, right? So I would, if would it make sense and logical, would it make rational sense if I was to say to you that any person who follows the path of God will become naturally more intelligent in awareness than other people around them?
Yes, of course.
Perfect. So why is it that Muslims who get closer to the deen become dumber and dumber? Why is it that Christians that become preachers become lost and ridiculously stupid? Why is it that, some people, for example, like Sikh gurus who become a guru become very conscious individuals because their understanding of God is different to the flawed understanding through the Muslim perspective or the Christian perspective.
Yeah.
If you comprehend God, the more you comprehend God, the wiser you become. Wisdom comes from God. Intellect can be learned from books and through experience. Wisdom is comprehended through understanding God. Wisdom doesn't correlate with evil. An evil individual cannot be wise. An individual who commits many crimes cannot be wise. They're clearly an idiot or regressed in their mentality. An individual who causes harm to living species and a life isn't a wise individual. You'd accept this. Yeah. So these are the ways that we can comprehend and understand God through honor. What is honor again? Now, through honor, for example, for a Pakistani Muslim, is to not let their child, their daughter, speak to, for example, a Christian. And not do anything before marriage, not have sex before marriage. But if your daughter has sex before marriage, then killing her is acceptable to save your honor, or to marry her off to any silly individual because you want to save your family honor. This is a very primitive state of honor. This honor is only capped to the level of what you want to show people of your culture and your identity. Your identity is only a small part of you. Mm-hmm. So again, what is honor? Honor is standing up for truth. What is truth again? So a simple analogy, recently many individuals stood up for Black Lives Matters. People that have never stood up for anything in their lives made posts about Black Lives Matters, not because they really cared about it, it's because they were basically, everybody else was doing it. Now, why is it that nobody's standing for it now? And why is it that this movement, even though it made millions and millions, it now is basically gone? Do you hear about it anymore?
Not as much, no.
Nope, it's basically gone. Nobody really cares about it. It's a political tool that people use once every 4 years to incite a group of, people that are not as educated as they should be. And they cause hysteria and confusion amongst them to make them do what they need them to be done. Now, where are they now? They're gone. But that's because the cause is not true.
Mm-hmm.
But I promise you, if there was a cause that was true, for example, but this is the problem. There's nobody I know today that really has a cause that is completely true. I'm sorry, I just can't think of anybody. It's a bit crazy, but
wouldn't you say like saving the planet, looking after the climate? That's a true cause.
Yeah, but saving the climate, how? That would be my next question. By what? By
decreasing pollution. Decreasing pollution.
No, that's not the way. The greatest way to enlighten, to do anything, is to teach.
Okay.
Teaching is the greatest act you can do for somebody, because the moment you wake them up, you can be disabled. For example, I could be a disabled individual.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, Stephen Hawking's. Okay? Yeah. He was on a wheelchair. He couldn't even speak and move his mouth.
Yeah.
Yet, from twitching one of his muscles, he could basically educate so many students on physics and understanding the universe better. And because of his help, we have been able to comprehend certain things a little bit better than we have before. In the past, people like Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, that to this day people listen and learn from and admire, these individuals, they didn't fight or commit to any physical acts. They taught. And to this day, we revere them as one of the greatest minds of all time. And the greatest thing you can do is to teach. Now, if somebody is not teaching, and remember, teaching is fundamentals. It's basically you're creating a foundation to enlighten people. You're showing people what the difference is between right and wrong, essentially. And I could go out there and plant 1 million trees and say, wow, I've done so much good. I could go out there and give £1 billion to poor people. But what the hell does that do if I don't teach people how to make money in the first place? Mm-hmm. These people, if not these people, and a whole nother 1 billion individual will become poor sooner or later. Which is why from the beginning of time, nobody has been able to solve the crisis of poverty. Because, you can't just keep pouring money into something and expect it to become better. In the long term, it's causing a lot of issues.
Yeah.
The greatest thing you can do is to educate, to teach. And the best thing, for example, people that, if they want to help the world and help climate change, is to teach. Make it a foundation in schools to teach a whole curriculum on global warming, on plastic pollution, on recycling, on these type of issues.
Yeah.
I was never fucking taught this in school. You were lucky.
Yeah.
In my school, and we used to see this. It wasn't an issue for us to basically eat chicken and chips or drink a can of Tango and just dash it on the floor when the bin is just 10 meters away from you. It wasn't an issue for us to just dash random chicken bones in random places. It wasn't an issue for us to just dash plastic wrapping paper on the floor. We didn't give a damn, because nobody taught us the negative repercussions of these effects on the environment, on us, and everything around us. So again, how would this have been fixed if we were taught from young? And that foundation is teaching. I wish I was taught. I wish I could have this teaching. But this is why I keep saying the highest responsibility is somebody who can teach you, or who can take that responsibility of showing you what is right and wrong. And somebody who doesn't do that, in my mind, and it's not just in my mind, I can logically and factually prove to you that you're not really committing to your purpose. So the highest purpose one can do is to teach. Now, the next question would be, okay, what is the highest purpose to teach? Now, you can teach many things. See, you see how we go step by step.
Yeah.
So, for example, a plumber can teach a whole, hundreds of plumbers, and technically they are helping people every day with their drainage and their sewage pipes and whatnot. The next question, one of these students will come to the plumber and say, you know what, I want to do more than this, like I love this as a job, but I want to do more. Like I still don't feel content in my life. And when you think about contentment, what is contentment? Contentment is happiness. Now, again, happiness is based on your perspective. Now, some of these spiritualists, they're getting closer and closer to understanding God, but because they've never spoken and communicated with God, they don't understand. So again, happiness comes from perspective. So happiness is also attained by me. If I'm a degenerate, I go and buy Balmain shoes, Balmain clothes, and spend £1,000 on shoes. Spend £1,000 on a rental for the weekend. Go out to the clubs, get drunk, put some girls on my table, and then go home, spend the night with a few of them. Then the next day, go back, send a Snapchats, let people know how wavy I am, and boom. That is a form of happiness as well. I'm not saying no.
It's fun.
It's also happiness for a chimpanzee to wank in front of its primates as well. It's also a form of. Animals feel contentment and happiness also. A dog likes to sometimes lick the balls and lick the dick of other dogs as well. Sniff the asshole. For them, you see the tail wagging, very happy. Yeah. It's completely fine. Foxes like to eat certain types of feces of other animals, poops, if you don't know what feces are. So contentment is, again, a perspective from the physical assets that individual has. And for me, going back to the plumber story, if you want to be more content than what you already are, you need to have a higher purpose. And a higher purpose, you need to go back to the source of happiness again. Where does happiness come from? Happiness itself comes from understanding jaceen, the pure divine consciousness and awareness of God. And doing that through love, now you got to ask yourself, okay, what do I love? Do I love shoes and clothes? Do I love attention? Is that what I'm basing my happiness on? So the more attention I receive, the happier I get. And the less attention I receive, the more miserable I become? Or is it based on me going on? So the next part in consciousness, fucking hell, I can talk about so many different things. But the next part is, because some people like to just go off and travel the world. They like to see many different countries. Yeah. They like to, what can I say? They like to see new sights. They like to see beauty.
Explore culture.
Yeah, they're not worried about attention. They want their own harmony and peace. Now, my question to this person is, okay, so once you've traveled over 200 countries, you've documented it, you've seen all these places, then what? What are you going to do then? You see? Now they've hit another cap. Now the next thing is, I'm going to try and leave the Earth and go to the moon. Okay, once you've done that and you've gone to Mars, then what are you going to do? Then they're like, oh shit, okay, what's the next level? Okay? Yeah. So perspectives comes into it, and once you understand what happiness itself derives from and contentment, and it all comes back into one, and that is, people state, even Christians and Muslims and all religious people, they find the highest contentment. You'd agree with this, even Muslims, Buddhists, no matter who it is, the highest contentment they can access is when they follow their path of God.
Of course.
And this is scientifically and clinically proven, which is why atheists who don't believe in God have a very high prevalence of suicide rates. And they have a very high prevalence of depression. Nihilism has a huge factor to that. And, atheists non-believers have the highest prevalence in killing themselves as the people that believe in God. And can you blame them when your whole purpose, is based on the foundation from God? How are you going to be happy if you don't understand or know God? And humans are the only animals in this world that can comprehend or have the ability to comprehend God. And if you don't have the ability to comprehend God, technically, your mind is like an animal's. It is a very primitive mind. So, following the path of God. Now, the next question is, God, what is truth? What is real? What is goodness itself? These things here, once you get here to this level, this is the highest purpose you can attain. Because once you get to this level, it becomes all one, basically. Truth, reality, God, happiness. It all is one thing. And if you're achieving that, there's nothing that can stop you. You've also got no cap to what you can do. So, for example, I can never have a cap to what I do. Look at it. Every day, I don't get paid for this. I get hated for this. I get death threats for it. But nothing can stop me from telling the truth. What kind of motivation and inspiration is this? Where every day, everybody tells me I'm crazy, I'm this, I'm that, I'm da-da-da-da-da. You know, I've been shadow banned countless times.
Yeah.
I've lost thousands of followers. I've been blocked. You can name it. Yeah, I'm still here doing the, talking the truth.
Yeah.
When at the beginning, my whole Insta was based around getting fame and clout and followers. Yeah. Now I can see that I'm losing followers. I can see that I'm losing business. I can see that I'm losing attention. I can see that I'm getting shadow banned. Yeah. I can see that my family, my friends, everybody was telling me, yo, bro, like, stop, man. You could get hurt. Da-da-da. But then, who knows more, these lot or God? If God has told me something, or God has communicated with me, and I have seen God, and let's just imagine, let's just say if I was lying, cool, that's a different story. Let's say if I was lying, you can really easily in this day and age find out I'm lying, because I'll based on what I'm saying, you'll find a contradiction, you'll find something that I've said which is ridiculous or makes no sense, and you'll come back and you'll prove it wrong, and you'll say, hold on, this is BS. And you've seen it yourself, how many people have tried to do it every single day when I give open debates all the time? Nobody's been able to do it so far. So let's just imagine that this, not even me, let's just imagine that there's this human, because to this day, the most revered people in history are religious figures like Muhammad. He's loved by over 1.5 billion people. Jesus is loved by over 2 billion people. Buddha is loved by over 500 million people, and so on and so forth. Yeah? The gurus and the Sikhs, to this day, all the Sikhs will follow them. And because once you try to comprehend the path of God, you naturally, logically again, become a teacher to all. Because if you really have comprehended God, you must become a teacher to all. Understanding. Yeah. Only by understanding God, you understand truth. Only by understanding God, you understand your purpose. And let's just question this. Let's just imagine if there was an individual who actually did communicate with God. Now, we've heard in the past that, for example, Buddha saw enlightenment, Jesus was God or saw God or was connected to God. Muhammad was speaking to an angel that was speaking to him through God in the caves. Moses spoke to God. Abraham spoke to... All these men that are famous people that we know about, and to this day we revere so highly. Let's just imagine all of these men have lied, because we can evidently prove it, right?
Of course.
Let's just imagine that one of these days somebody came out and they said, yo, I've actually communicated with God. I know what truth is. I know what happiness. I know every question that you can ask, and I can give you a foundation to it. If this man was proven to tell the truth, or woman, and if they was actually being honest, what would we do with this individual? What should we do with this person?
Crown him.
No. In fact, this individual wouldn't want to be crowned. What is a crown to somebody who has understood God? Again, it goes back to the story of the gold and metal. What is that? Just riches for the ego.
Yeah.
You see, this man is beyond that, or this woman. What would you do with this man or woman?
I'd listen to him, give him a platform.
That's all he requires. You see how simple it is? That's it. He doesn't require anything else. He just wants you to listen. That's it. He doesn't want no money from you, which is why there's no purpose for me to somebody saying to us, people keep trying to find something that is motivating me. They're like, you must be getting paid out. This is, and I'm like, bro,
the secret society, bro.
Yeah, I'm secret. I'm all sorts, bro. No. I just care about you. I just care about you. That's it. And it doesn't make sense to them. And I'm just saying, yes. And they're saying, what you think? Because in their mind, it's like, what? My parents have lied to me. My generations have lied to me. All these people I've learned from have lied to me. All these people on YouTube I watch have lied to me. You're telling me you know the truth? Now,
Crazy.
How much does your ego need to be completely, removed before you are able to listen to this individual? Let's say if this person was actually telling the truth. Let's say from the beginning, their only purpose was not to do anything else, but just to tell the truth, and that's it. And they've continuously asked to be disproven, and nobody, no matter how much they hate him, have been able to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And look, before this, I was working, and I'll be honest, I used to sell drugs quite a lot. I stopped all of it once this happened.
Crazy.
I stopped all of that suddenly, because how could I be selling something that pollutes people in any way, shape or form? It regressed their health. So what did I do instead? I opened up a whole health company to go with it.
Yeah.
To provide not just because what do people establish beauty with? To look nice. To basically ask them. Or whatever the hell people put on. Instead, what we did is, you need an organic, natural product that provides you an essence of health and beauty. And look, every product is organic. Every product is natural. And wouldn't the essence of life itself would be to consume from something that is natural and organic as opposed to something that is chemical-based? If I was to ask you, what is the more conscious thing to do? Would it be to eat out of a can or to eat from the earth?
Eat from the earth.
There you go.
Fresh.
Because it's natural, it's organic. Exactly. So that's one thing. That the standing for truth was another. Now I had to go back to my family and break it down to them. We'll come to that another time. But yeah, man, this is a foundation, and just to give a little. Obviously, there's so much more, and I can't wait till obviously we do more of these podcasts. We'll be able to break them down.
Bro, I didn't have expectations, but you have done something, bro. It's crazy how you explained that. Blown away, bro.
I'm looking forward to the future. I'm hoping right now
this is just the beginning.
Yeah, this is just a bit. I'm still very young, and hopefully in time I get more and more students to listen, and hopefully in time it's not about me. This has got nothing to do with me. If I'm not appreciated, maybe in another lifetime I will be. But I just want to be. I just want my words to be appreciated and just to be heard. And hopefully, right now we've got 100 people. I mean, at one point when I was coming on live just to do stupidness, I'd get at least 2,500 people. But we know that stupidity and humor and ridiculousness, clownery is what attracts many people, because most people have a low sense of humor. They have a low understanding of what is purposeful, so they commit themselves to those things. But hopefully in time more people will understand what is more worthy, what has got more essence, what has got more purpose, and they'll stand for it. And this is what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not some guy who just jumped on new here and trying to do something to sell. Our products sell anyway. We don't give a damn. I mean, you know anyway. Everybody knows. My haters know, which we have many. We don't give a damn what you buy or don't buy. Our products are always selling out, and we've got loads of customers. Yeah, many people are. That's the problem. Like we sell a lot more than we can actually create because the quality is so high, and we stand by it. But that's not for some reason. No matter how clearly I'm doing good. I could say God is on my side, but that would be illogical. It wouldn't make sense.
God won't take sides.
Nah, exactly. So I create my own sides. So based on me doing good, and based on what I do with the company, everything that we sell has got a purpose to better the health of an individual. So everything should have a purpose, and everything has a purpose with Jaceen like that. So whether it's through the company itself, whether it's through the retreats, which will be occurring from when lockdown commences, when lockdown is over, sorry. And that is where the beginning is, when we sit down together. Obviously you've sat down with myself, and in the future it will be a different experience when we're congregating with the Jaceen family together, and who knows where we're going to go in the future. All I know is that the future is us, the future is this, whether people accept it now or in time they're able to comprehend it. That is within their scopes and times. We're not forcing anything upon anybody. We just we're patient ourselves, and we're a new movement. This isn't a religion. This is a philosophy. This is a way of life, a way to comprehend God, the true God within us all, and hopefully, we can bring that into fruition in time.
Just quickly, bro. When is this gonna be uploaded? And where?
No, man. The previous one was just uploaded. This one's going to get uploaded as well.
Okay, perfect. Then you're going to upload this to YouTube and Spotify too?
Yeah. We're going to upload it up to Spotify and YouTube. And yeah, man, if you've got anything else, I'm going to jump off. That was 2 hours, man.
2 hours. Wasn't expecting that, but it's great, bro. Honestly. Insane.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for obviously jumping on, and I appreciate you asking the questions that you have. Let's just see how people thought of it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to close this off, and guys, if you lot can, you can leave your comments on the video themselves. Spend your time to post up your comments or your reasonings or what you believe, in your own words from this podcast. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I appreciate it.
Me too, bro. Got me excited now.
That's it, man. There's loads more, man. I spoke about like 100 different things on this, so we need to structure it a little bit more. I started talking about genital. The knowledge is crazy, but
the thing was though, it connected all. You know what I mean? Halfway through, you have to be patient with it, and it makes sense in the end. You connected it all, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. But say no more. I appreciate you jumping on, bro. I'm gonna post this up, guys, if you can. If you don't want to show us, obviously, that you enjoyed this live, please do comment, leave your comments on the videos. I'd really appreciate it. And hopefully you lot can see the value. If I did kind of not, sometimes it's really difficult. This is the first time I've done this where it's quite difficult to just like speak step by step. But yeah, hopefully I get better at it as time goes along as well, man.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but that's it, man. Thank you, guys. And yeah, leave your comments on there as well, man. I appreciate it.
Take care, bro. I'll see you again soon.
Best, man. Take care.